ladies and gentlemen, you've been facing obstacles. I know it's been hard. I know you've been dealing with disappointments, challenges, setbacks that you didn't expect and can't understand. But I need you to hear me today. There's more inside of you than you realize. There's more strength, more resilience, more potential waiting to come alive. You've got to put in more effort. You've got to dig deeper. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. You're saying, I've tried. I've done everything I know how to do. I've given it my best shot, and it still feels like I'm not getting anywhere. You're tired. I hear you. You're tired of trying, and the breakthrough still feels far away. But hear me today. When you push beyond your limits, that's where transformation happens. It's not in your comfort zone that growth happens. It's not in your safety net. It's when you step out, stretch yourself, go beyond what you thought was possible. That's where you find the power to elevate your life. Too many of us want success to come easy. We want the breakthrough without the burden, the reward without the work. But that's not how the process works. There's a law in this world, and that law is called effort. The more effort you put into something, the more reward you will reap. It might not be instant, but it will come. You're not just called to survive this life, you're called to thrive. You've been called for greater things than what you've settled for. You've been called to reach heights that you never thought you could touch, but you've got to make up in your mind that you're going to put in more effort. Okay? Some of you have been playing it safe, sitting on the sidelines, thinking that your dreams will come to you without you having to stretch. But I came to tell you today, nothing worth having comes easy. You want a better job? You've got to put in more effort. You want to restore that relationship? You've got to put in more effort. You want to see your dreams manifest? You've got to put in more effort. You cannot afford to wait for things to just happen. You cannot afford to sit and pray for something to fall from the sky. God works in partnership with your effort. He provides the strength, the grace, the favor, but He needs you to do your part. You've got to take action. You've got to put in the work, even when it feels like nothing is happening, even when you don't see the results immediately, even when you feel like you've hit a wall or when the mountain feels too high to climb. That's when you push harder, stretch further, and believe stronger than ever before. This is the definition of perseverance. Keep hitting that mountain when no one else will climb until you are stronger than ever before. This isn't just about physical effort. This is about your mental and emotional strength. You've got to make up in your mind that you won't be defeated. You've got to stand up in your spirit and declare, I will not quit. I will not give in. I will not back down. Because quitting is easy. Quitting is the path of least resistance. But greatness requires more. It requires more than what you're comfortable giving. It demands more from you than you thought you had in you. But if you're willing to give more, if you're willing to go the extra mile, if you're willing to push beyond what you thought was possible, there's a reward waiting for you on the other side. I know that some of you are facing obstacles that seem insurmountable. I know that some of you are looking at your situation right now and saying, how can I overcome this? I know it feels impossible. I know you feel overwhelmed. But what I want you to hear today is that what you are facing is not greater than the strength that is within you. You've got more inside of you than you realize. You are stronger than you think. You are more capable than you know. When the pressure comes, it's not meant to crush you, it's meant to press out what's inside of you. Pressure brings out the potential. Pressure brings out the purpose. It might not feel good, but it's working for your good. Every obstacle, every setback, every closed door is positioning you for something greater. You might not understand it right now, but don't you dare stop putting in the effort. Don't you dare quit when you're so close to your breakthrough. I want you to understand that effort isn't just about what you do with your hands. It's about what you do with your heart and your mind. When you make a decision to go the extra mile, when you decide that nothing will stand in your way, that's when you begin to tap into your true power. Don't wait for the circumstances to change. Don't wait for someone else to come and rescue you. You've got everything you need inside of you to take your life to the next level. You just need to give more effort. You just need to make up in your mind that you are not backing down. The world is full of people who start strong but quit too soon. It's full of people who have big dreams but never put in the effort to see them come to fruition. But I came to tell you today that you are not like them. You are not just another person walking around with a dream that never becomes a reality. You are a person with the power to make things happen. You are a person with the ability to change your situation. You are a person with the potential to overcome any challenge, break any barrier, and reach any goal. But you've got to give more. You've got to be willing to put in more effort than you've ever put in before. The problem is, too many of us want the reward without the work. We want the success without the struggle. But hear me when I say this. Success is not just about the outcome. It's about the process. It's about who you become in the middle of the effort. You will grow stronger, wiser, and more resilient with each step you take toward your dreams. So don't be discouraged by the struggle. Don't be discouraged by the roadblocks. You embrace the journey because the effort you're putting in now is shaping you for what's to come. And let me tell you, when you give more effort, there is a power that is released in your life. There is a favor that is unlocked when you do the work. The universe, God, the divine, whatever you want to call it, responds to effort. When you show up with the determination to push beyond your limitations, the doors will begin to open. Opportunities will start to unfold. The people you need will come into your life. The resources you need will find their way to you. It's not magic, it's the law of effort. You've got to push past the doubts. You've got to silence the voices that tell you it's too hard. You've got to shut down the negativity that says you can't. Because you can, you've been equipped, you've been empowered, you've been anointed for this moment. But now you've got to show up. Now you've got to put in the effort. Some of you are afraid of failing. You're afraid that if you give everything you've got, it won't work out. But I need you to hear me. Failure is not the end. Failure is a lesson. Failure is an opportunity to learn. Failure is simply the next step toward success. True growth and success come from consistently putting in more effort, especially when faced with challenges. It's not enough to wait for things to happen. You must actively push beyond your limits, trusting that your effort will lead to transformation and breakthroughs. Success is not just about the outcome, but about who you become in the process. Struggles, setbacks, and obstacles are shaping you, building your strength and resilience for the greater things ahead. Every effort, even in hardship, is part of your journey toward success. Failure is not the end. It is an essential part of the process that brings you closer to your goals. Each setback teaches you valuable lessons and moves you forward toward your breakthrough. Keep going even after you fail, because every effort counts. You have more strength, resilience, and potential within you than you realize. By committing to more effort, you unlock the power to overcome obstacles and achieve greatness. Don't settle for less. Rise to the challenge and trust that your effort will bring the reward. There's a force within every individual that, when harnessed, can change the course of their life. It's the power of effort, the energy, the drive, the will to push beyond what is comfortable, what is familiar, and what feels easy. Effort is a currency that you invest in your future. And let me tell you, every ounce of effort you give is like planting a seed in the ground. You may not see the fruit immediately, but it's growing beneath the surface. And eventually, the harvest will come. But this doesn't happen without you actively engaging with the process of putting in more effort. I know it's not easy. The process can feel tedious at times. It can feel like you're putting in all this effort and getting little in return. But that's the nature of growth. It doesn't always look impressive at first. When you're building something from the ground up, it can take time before you see the results of your labor. But I promise you, everything you're doing is contributing to the bigger picture. Every little task, every small victory, every time you show up, it's all adding up. You have to trust that it is. And the more you embrace the process, the more you learn to see the value in the small steps, the easier it becomes to stay motivated and to keep going when things get tough. Think about how many people quit too soon. How many people give up right before they were about to experience a breakthrough? They didn't stick with the process long enough. They didn't trust that the work they were putting in was going to pay off. They got frustrated with the lack of immediate results, and so they walked away. But what if they had stayed just a little longer? What if they had pressed through the moment of doubt, the moment of discouragement, and continued with the process? What if they had trusted that the work they were doing was moving them closer to their goal, even if they couldn't see it in the moment? This is why embracing the process is so important. It teaches you patience. It teaches you persistence. It teaches you to keep going even when the end goal feels far away. And most importantly, it teaches you to trust that you are exactly where you need to be in this moment. The process isn't meant to hold you back. Failure, in its raw form, is something that we often try to avoid at all costs. We are taught from a young age that failure is something to be ashamed of, something to hide, something that marks us as incapable or insufficient. Society in many ways glorifies success and shames failure. As a result, we develop a fear of failure, a fear that prevents us from stepping out, taking risks, or even attempting something new because we are afraid of what might happen if we don't succeed. But here's a truth that's critical to understand. Failure is not the end. In fact, failure is often the very thing that propels us to success. It is an essential part of the process. And if you can learn to embrace it rather than fear it, you will open the door to unlimited growth and potential. First, let's understand why failure causes so much fear. The fear of failure comes from the idea that when we fail, we are somehow inadequate or unworthy. We believe that failing means we are not good enough, that we are less than what we should be. This fear is deep-rooted in our ego and in the image we project to the world. We don't want others to see us fail because we don't want them to see us as weak or incapable. But the truth is, failure is not a reflection of your worth. It is simply a moment in time, a learning experience, a part of the journey that you are on. When you look at failure as an opportunity to grow and learn, rather than a mark of personal inadequacy, you begin to free yourself from the fear that holds you back. Think about the greatest achievements in history, the most remarkable inventions, the most successful entrepreneurs. The path to their success was paved with failure. In fact, it's often the case that failure was the very thing that led them to the breakthrough they needed. Every person who has ever achieved something significant has faced failure, sometimes many failures. And those failures did not define them, they refined them. Every failure is a lesson in disguise, an opportunity to learn something new about yourself, your approach, and your path. The fear of failure is often rooted in our inability to accept that mistakes and setbacks are part of the process, part of the story. When you approach failure as a necessary step in your journey, it no longer has the same hold over you. Instead of feeling defeated when you fail, you begin to look at it with curiosity. You start asking yourself questions like, what can I learn from this? What is this failure teaching me? How can I use this experience to become better? This shift in mindset is powerful because it takes failure from being a negative experience to being an essential part of your growth. And it allows you to see failure for what it truly is, a temporary setback that moves you forward, not a permanent reflection of your abilities. One of the most common reasons we fear failure is that we often equate it with never being able to succeed. We believe that failure is an indication that we are not capable of achieving our goals, that it somehow disqualifies us from success. But failure does not disqualify you from success. In fact, it often prepares you from success. Think about how many times you have learned something valuable from a mistake or a setback. Often, it's those failures that teach you the lessons you need in order to succeed the next time. For example, when Thomas Edison was asked about his many failures while inventing the light bulb, he famously said, "I have not failed, I've just found 1,000,000 ways that won't work." Edison's perspective on failure is one we should all adopt. He understood that failure wasn't the end, it was simply a part of the process of discovering what would work. When you're afraid to fail, you become paralyzed. You hesitate to take risks, to try new things, and to push beyond your comfort zone. You stay stuck in what is familiar, in what is safe, because the fear of failure keeps you from stepping into the unknown. But the truth is, growth only happens outside of your comfort zone. You cannot expand and stretch into the person you are meant to become without facing the possibility of failure. It is only by taking risks, by pushing yourself beyond the limits you've set for yourself, that you will begin to experience the growth and success that you desire. The fear of failure, if you allow it to, can keep you trapped in a cycle of mediocrity, preventing you from ever reaching your full potential. There's something deep within you, something that you may not fully realize, that holds the power to transform your life. It's your inner potential, the power to change, to grow, to succeed, to become the best version of yourself has always been inside you. It's easy to overlook it. It's easy to doubt it, to question whether you have what it takes to achieve your dreams. But the truth is, you have everything you need within you. All it takes is the willingness to unlock that potential, to step into it, and to believe that it's real. Many of us walk through life unaware of the vast, untapped potential we possess. We live in the shadow of our own greatness, thinking that we are not capable of the extraordinary things we dream of achieving. But deep down, inside your heart, there is a wellspring of strength, creativity, resilience, and determination that is waiting to be awakened. Tomorrow, the first step in realizing your inner potential is to believe that it exists. You have to acknowledge that within you lies the capacity to achieve incredible things, even if you can't see the full picture right now. Your potential is not determined by your circumstances, your past failures, or your current limitations. Your potential is limitless, and it is shaped by the choices you make today. It's important to stop defining yourself by the setbacks or challenges of yesterday. The past does not dictate your future. Your potential is not determined by what you've been through, but by what you are willing to do moving forward. Every day is an opportunity to tap into that potential and move one step closer to the person you are destined to become. Your inner potential is something that you may have ignored, downplayed, or even denied in the past, but now is the time to acknowledge it. Inside you is the power to overcome the obstacles in your life, to conquer the fears that have held you back, and to create a future that is far beyond what you've imagined. It's important to recognize that the only limits you truly have are the ones you place on yourself. Too often we allow fear, doubt, and the opinions of others to hold us back from stepping into the fullness of who we are meant to be. But when you understand that your potential is greater than your fear, greater than your doubts, and greater than any limitation, you begin to break free from those chains that have held you in place for far too long. One of the key obstacles that prevents people from realizing their full potential is a lack of self-belief. It's easy to look at someone else's success and think, they have something I don't have. They are gifted in a way that I'm not. They are capable of things that I can't even imagine. But that kind of thinking only reinforces the belief that you are somehow lacking. The truth is, we all have gifts, talents, and abilities that are unique to us. No one else can do what you can do in the way that you can do it. Your potential is uniquely yours, and it's only through tapping into it that you will discover your true capacity for greatness. You don't need to compare yourself to others. Instead, focus on uncovering the gifts within you, the passions that drive you, and the dreams that have been placed in your heart. When you begin to do that, you will realize that the potential you seek is already inside you, waiting to be expressed. Another powerful aspect of your inner potential is resilience. Life has a way of throwing curveballs, challenging us in ways that we never expected. Sometimes it feels like we can't handle the weight of our struggles, and it's easy to think that we're not strong enough to overcome the difficulties we face. But the truth is, you have a resilience within you that is often stronger than you think. It's not about avoiding failure or hardship. It's about how you respond to it. It's about rising each time you fall, pushing forward even when you feel like giving up, and continuing the journey despite the obstacles that may stand in your way. Every challenge you face is an opportunity to tap into that inner strength, to prove to yourself just how capable you truly are. Resilience is not about being invincible. It's about finding the strength to keep going when everything inside you says to stop. And every time you push through, you grow stronger, more confident in your ability to handle whatever comes your way. It's also important to understand that your potential is not something that is fixed. It is not something that is set in stone at birth or determined by your current circumstances. Your potential is something that grows and evolves over time. It expands as you continue to learn, grow, and challenge yourself. The more you push yourself out of your comfort zone, the more you will discover about your true capacity. Every time you step into the unknown, take a risk, or pursue something new, you are expanding your potential. This means that there is no limit to what you can achieve, as long as you are willing to keep growing. Your potential is not static, it's dynamic, always changing and evolving as you learn and experience more in life. You have to believe one of the most powerful ways to unlock your inner potential is through action. It's easy to get caught in a cycle of thinking and planning without ever taking that first step. We can become so focused on the idea of perfection or fear of failure that we hesitate to move forward. But potential is only unlocked when you take action. You can have the greatest gifts in the world, but if you don't take the necessary steps to cultivate them, to use them, and to share them, they will remain dormant inside you. It's not enough to simply have potential, you have to do something with it. Every small action you take moves you one step closer to unlocking your full potential. Even if the steps are small, even if they don't feel significant, each one matters. But they add up over time, creating momentum that propels you forward toward your goals. Don't wait for the perfect moment to begin. Start where you are with what you have. Every step you take, no matter how small, is a step toward the greatness that lies within you.